How did you think this meeting went tonight?
I thought it was a great meeting. We had great input from the public. We got a lot of questions answered. I think the questions that were answered triggered a lot of questions still yet to come. From my point of view, there were costs that were over and above the original estimates that maybe should have been anticipated a little bit better. But I'm not a construction person, so I don't know that. But there were certainly a couple of things that nobody could predict, the things buried in the ground. But aside from that, like we heard the construction manager say, they were on target till the last two bids came in. And they're doing another project right now down in Norwalk, and they're going to be looking at that to see if the same thing happens. And I don't know, I can't answer that question. I don't know why those last two things were so far variant from what the estimates were. I still don't know.
And the list that Mr. Menti gave for all of the extras that weren't anticipated was a little long, really.
Yes.
And things like insurance, shouldn't that be known?
It should. That should have been anticipated.
So whose fault is, who would that be on?
I would think, and this is my opinion, that the architect would have put those in the soft costs. So, the seal and peak charge or the Eversource charge for the, I think it was a transformer box and the line, $20,000, I think. This was not something new or unanticipated. There was a generator, emergency generator spec'd in the project from day one. So obviously you have to plug it in. So why that was not included, I don't know. Same thing with the cost of building inspection. $18,000 that had to be farmed out. And that's common because a project of this nature, and we'll go through the same thing with the schools where that cost is included, that really is beyond the expertise of a small town department. You have to bring in the experts to that. Plus it takes a team of people to do those kind of things with a project like this. That should have been anticipated. The fiber optic cable for the 911 system, that should have been anticipated. Why it wasn't in there, I think those are questions that we have to follow up on and, really ask it's not something we're going to be able to resolve before we finish this project, but certainly we're going to be holding back retainage. We're going to be asking for some really solid answers to that. And there are, in some cases there are insurances that cover those things too.
Who does the final sign-off before the project breaks ground? I think that's the biggest question that people are asking. And then the other question is, why wasn't a final price maximum nailed down before the project was allowed to start?
Well, they've already answered that because they used a phased bidding process. Go back to your first question.
Who signs off?
I signed off on the master contract.
Without seeing
No. That's not the notice to proceed. That's in the hands of the building committee. So my signature is on the contract that said we're going to build the building and these are the guys we're hiring. Now the building committee voted to give the notice to proceed based on all the things that they said tonight.
So that would be Mr. Menti.
Or
all of them.
Yeah, I want to be clear on this.
Well, I'm asking for the public.
I know. You're asking for the public.
Right.
Mr. Menti chairs the meetings. These are committee decisions, and they all voted on them. So I agree with Mr. Perna. It's not fair to point to Mr. Menti and say you did this and you did that.
Well, we obviously know it's a committee, but there's one person that signs off. They don't all put their signatures on it. So somebody.
No. They don't all sign it, but he can't sign it unless they all vote. So every vote authorizes him to sign on behalf of the committee. So you got to take his name out of it. This is a committee decision.
Right, but someone signed without the final bids being in and without a maximum amount being nailed down.
That's right.
Okay, I think that's the problem. Yeah.
Well, let's look at it from another angle. That's true. I think it's safe to say that everybody would do things differently if we could reel back 2.5 years and start over. But the folks from Downs, and maybe it was Mr. Humes even, I think said it best, had we done that, we'd still be in the same position we're in today because we would have found out that the building could not be built for $13,500 in the beginning instead of at the end. And it is absolutely, I think, it is a foregone conclusion that the choice would not have been made to scale back that much, because that literally deprives. If you scale the square footage back that far, you have to ask, why are we building this? This is how the current police station became unusable. It was too small the day it opened, and then they had to come back and they spent more money than if they'd done it right in the first place. So I get the progression.
Well, what I remember is something like, I'll just throw out some figures, 13.5 versus, let's say, 14.5 when we were
14.1.
Okay, when we were close to deciding, and then it was acceptable to the public. Whatever was removed from the project was acceptable to the public, and they approved it.
Right.
So it's not like the public was thinking there's an inferior project.
No. The way it went from 14.1 to 13.5 is the inside of the range.
They removed something, yeah.
That was it.
Right.
But
Right.
look at what the Downs people have told us is the prices changed so much that they can't even get to that 14.1 and still have it be the same.
Price change because years went by and prices go up? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if it's a function of time.
Well, what are they saying? Why did prices change?
The guy from Downs answered that better than I can. It's the market, and the market fluctuates. It's tied into labor markets. It's tied into to material markets.
But everyone knows that when they're like, if you were to decide on a project right today, and it wasn't going to be started until 2 years from now,
yeah,
isn't that built in?
Yes,
it should be built in,
and it was. What they said is they built in a contingency for escalation.
Right.
And those last two bids that came in were way above that. Everything else was fine, just those last two were way above. So that's, I can't answer that. I'm not an economist.
Do you have confidence that this project will be done?
When I see it will be done. It will be done right.
But will it be done on the pace it's going now, or will it, I heard someone say that they were going to suggest maybe a year wait?
No. That was an option, and I don't think we haven't discussed it.
Well, it's an option, so it could happen, yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't hear any support from either board for doing it that way, because that just, whenever you delay something like this, as uncomfortable as the situation is, the price doesn't go down. It just goes up, and you waste more and more money. So we can't. It would, in my opinion, and I'm just again, we haven't discussed this. It would be foolish to not just do what we need to do to get the thing completed.
So we're at approximately 888 over plus change, and does that include? What did they say? 600,000 for the range. Does that include the range, or is the range added to that figure?
Well, the shell of the range is included. What they're
the
talking,
600,000 is to complete the range.
Yeah, 570.
Okay, and that include? That's not included.
No,
so that 888 was without the range.
That's right. That 888 is as the voters approved it at 13.5.
Okay.
I know this is getting confusing, but 888 brings us to exactly what the voters expected to get and what the police department expected to get. Because, and I just told this to...
well, it's what they expected to get at 13.5.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So,
okay. All right.
All right.
Let's see what happens. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.